Hello everyone and welcome back to House Gnome Gaming. We are going to resume Frostpunk, a new home. We last left off, we had just gotten ourselves set up for exploration. So today we're going to concentrate on getting ourselves prepared for people to show up and start needing housing. We need to expand, we're running out of piles of resources, and so we're going to have to start building buildings to generate resources. We have our beacon, which allows us to explore. Alright, we are building our steelworks. We have one hunter's hut. Got a little sawmill going on here. Got one person being treated, 2 people sick, 2 people hungry. And we have cooked all of the food for the day. Just going to pause this so that we save our rations. Alright, we've torn down this gathering post. We're in the process of tearing this one down, so we've freed up some workers. I'm going to put 10 people into our steel mill. Turn on the heat, which every time we use the extended shift, people become discontented, but that's okay. We need them working right now. All right, let's see what research we're working on. We are working on, okay, our steam buildings. So steam hubs right now. Once we get that research, that will allow us to build out and start putting houses out around this outer ring. Right now we're limited to right here because that's where our heat's at. Go ahead and turn on the overdrive and get everybody warmer. Should have done that earlier. It's almost time to start work, but oh well. And I'm going to go ahead and take up this road and get these resources back. Costs a little extra when you pick up the road, then you don't get quite as many resources back, but for the time being that's good enough. We need the resources more than the little bit of loss offset. Alright, we've reached the crash site. This is where our expedition was split up when our vehicles crashed during a snowstorm. Some of our precious supplies should be here. So we explore it, and potentially we can find raw food or wood. There are plenty of priceless supplies in the wrecks of our expedition. Searching among the crates scattered in the snow behind the wrecks, we find the bodies. They're tangled together in a single frozen mass, as if these people were trying to find at least a little bit of warmth just before they died. We can do nothing for them, not even bury them. Okay, so we're going to take the resources. We're going to get 34 raw food and 145 wood. And then we're going to go to the area that we uncovered, which is the observatory. And now you can see we get this little box, this little yellow box around the portrait of our exploration team, and if you open it you can see what they're carrying. Alright, 6 a.m., turn the overdrive off. And it got warmer. We dropped 10 degrees. So we're going to turn off the steam hub during the day to conserve our coal a little bit, and you can see the heaters will continue to function even without your generator running. So it's very important to have heaters on your buildings. Alright, I'm going to pull a couple of workers out of
work time. Get back to work.
This one so that we can make our food for the day. Got our steam hub. think the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build our coal thumper. We're going to get that researched because we are going to start facing temperature drops. And this coal, we've got 944 pieces here and another 171 in this pile over here, is not going to last us very long. If we click on our economy tab, you can see we consume 104 coal per day right now. And that is without the generator running. That's just with the heaters. So if we turn the generator back on, let that fire back up, we can see now we're consuming 248 per day. So, 1,100-ish, just under 1,200. Not going to last us very long at that rate, especially because we're going to be adding buildings and steam hubs and all kinds of items that are going to take up our coal use. So if we take a steam hub and we place it down, you can see there's a circle right around it. And that shows you the area that the hub covers. And any buildings that will be warmed up by the steam hub once it's built have a little orange outline around them. You can there you can see it there. You get a little orange outline. So if you get an orange outline around the building, you know it is covered by the heat. And if the orange outline goes away, so if you take a look right here at the cookhouse, you can see the orange outline, and once I move it a certain length away, it's no longer outlined in orange, which means it no longer gets benefit of the heat. So you've got to pay attention to where you're building things once you start using these steam hubs. But at the moment, we do not need one, so we're not going to do it. Sir, our people are worn out. Some of them have been working on extended shifts for days on end. Their effort is taking a toll, and they're becoming restless. They deserve a break. Well, that is a good idea, but I'm not going to do that. The reason I won't do that is because I want my workshops working on extended shifts. Now, in order to get rid of some of the discontent, since our coal is almost full and our wood is almost full, we can put those buildings on normal shifts, and that will lower our discontent just a little bit and still allow us to keep other buildings working at full capacity. All right, we have our coal thumper. Bunkhouse would be nice. This gives us a little warmth bonus. But I think the first thing we're going to do is the wall drill, because we're going to need to start stockpiling walls or wood. Now, the wall drill, when we build it, it's going to take a steam core. And as you can see, we only have one steam core, but that's all right because we will find more during our exploration. Let's select our new law. Alright, so we have pretty much selected all the laws that everybody hates, and now we have a choice of things that they're not going to mind. Organ transplant is nice. There's no downside to this one because we took the hit on the corpse disposal. This just allows us to use basically the body parts to help people recover faster. Care house, we're going to start getting people with frostbite and they're going to lose limbs, and if we build a care house, then we can put them in the house and they move out of the medical posts and out of regular housing, and they live in the care house, which cuts down how much food they eat because they're not working when they're there either. And eventually that'll allow us to unlock prosthetics. But we don't need that one right now. What we're going to do right now is build a fighting arena, because that is going to be a cheap increase to some of our happiness. So we're going to build that right there. And we're going to go ahead and have some other stuff put in while we're at it. Let's preemptively build. We know we're going to need 2 steelworks, and this is the only places that we can build the steelworks are these 2 locations. And then I like to go ahead and put my coal thumper near my steelworks because I like to try and maximize the reach of my steam hub. Okay, so we want both steelworks to be covered. I can see this one's covered, but that one's not. So if I move it up 1, it's covered there. Now I need to put in gathering posts because when you put in a coal thumper, you have to have gathering posts in order to gather up the coal that's produced. And we want everything located near the steam hub so that it all stays warm off of one hub. We want to maximize the number of buildings in our one hub. Observatory. Something's amiss at the observatory. Snow covers the precious instruments and the dome is open, letting out a thin column of smoke. Someone's inside. We might find survivors, so let's explore. Instead of astronomers, we're met by some of our lost people. They explained they came here for help but found everybody dead. The astronomers continued their observations until they starved. What was so important for them? They wrote it up in their diaries. The loss of sunlight can't be explained solely by the fouling of the atmosphere by the southern volcanoes. The sun is dimming. All right, so we have 3 choices here. Escort the survivors to the city. If we do that, everyone will survive and we'll get 4 children, 19 engineers, and 11 workers. We can send them to this city. If we do that, it will take them longer and we may not have all of them arrive safely, or we can leave them to their fate and just write them off and they won't come to the city at all. Well, we want them, so we're going to escort them to the city. We need to increase our population because we need some more workers. Cold homes. Captain, some of our people are concerned about the low temperature in their homes. They quite sensibly point out that it's easier to fall ill when it's cold and ask you to address the problem. This is going to come up a lot every time you see this, unless you are desperate for an increase in your hope or a decrease in your discontent. Ignore it. It locks you in for a certain number of days into keeping the housing at a certain temperature, and if it falls below that temperature, because the temperature drops or you don't think about it and you turn the generator off, you automatically lose that. So it's not even worth taking. It'll give you huge discontent and hope hit because they feel betrayed if you don't keep it going. If you run out of coal, it doesn't matter why you don't keep it going. They're unhappy about it. So I don't even bother with that one. All right, and we got a hope and discontent hit here. With discontent went down, hope went up just by putting in the fighting arena. And people will fight during their off time. And as far as I know, it does not increase your number of sick people. It's just a thing for them to do at night. All right, and we can see our steam hub is on. When you build a steam hub, you can set the time. Now, I wish we could set overnight hours for this because people will get sick walking back and forth along these paths in between heat sources. And sometimes I'd like to be able to cover my walking areas with steam hubs and just turn them on at night when they're going to build or do certain things. But you can't. Your only choices are to leave it running constantly where it's always sucking your coal down, to set it regular workday hours, or to set it to extended workday hours. So you want to base what you set it on, if it's around a working area, on the hours that you've got people in the building. If you have one building that you're working extended hours, you want to keep it on extended hours, otherwise people in that building will get sick. Right now, we do have a building on extended hours, and we will probably put all of these on extended hours, so we're going to set it on extended hours. And you can see it immediately shut down because it is outside of working hours. And there are our survivors returning to the city. It's heartwarming to see families reunited after so many hardships, but shouldn't there be other settlements nearby? The first expeditions left London long ago. They ought to be well established by now. They'll surely help us find our footing. We'll look for the others. So we're going to go looking for other cities. So we need to send our exploration team back out. And this time we have no choice but to follow the storyline because we don't have any other place to go. And you can see we now have 34 homeless people, 2 hungry people, and we still have some sick. We also have 11 unemployed workers, 19 unemployed engineers, and we're starting to get more children. So we're going to have to do something with the kids soon. So all these people need housing. We're also going to need to extend our health care because they're going to start getting sick. And we're going to build another research facility. Workshop so that we can research faster. Alright, let's assign more people to steal. Don't have our wall drill quite done yet. And let's get some more food. There. Alright, we're going to put the sawmill back on extended because we're going to need wood. Lots of wood. I'll put this on extended also. And we need to build some housing. So we're going to put a steam hub right out here. And we want to cover... Let's see. 2, 3, 4. And we want to cover as much area as we possibly can with it. I think that's good. Then we're going to put housing out. Now, remember I said in, I think it was episode 1, if you have a road or uneven space in between where you're trying to build a house. You see how small the footprint of the tents that I'm trying to build is right here? If I move it here in between these 2 roads, it spreads. And we need to maximize space. So right now we're going to build on this side of the road out to cover our steam hub area until we can get rid of this gathering post. Simply because I don't want to have to rebuild these houses. Although what I could do is... yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to connect this here. Once that connection's built, I'm going to get rid of this road here, which will allow me to build over here without having to worry about this tiny house footprint suddenly doubling in size. Yeah, let's do that. Come on, people, get stuff built. Alright, got our wall drill. And got our medical post. Turn the heat on there. Turn the heat off here because it's no longer nighttime. I think we're going to build this draft machine while we can, because the further down we go into these levels, the more expensive they get. So let's go ahead and get those taken care of. We're not trying to build quite so much stuff all at once. And then we're going to put our wall drill right over here. Once we get the wall drill built, we can turn off the sawmill and move those people over. Steam core. We have just used our first and only steam core. Steam cores are a necessary component in advanced technology. We can't manufacture steam cores in the city, so let's hope that our scouts find them during their expedition.
Get going. Time to earn your bread.
I'm going to turn the heat off in these buildings. They don't need it. They already have a plus 10 degree warmth bonus over the rest of these buildings. And turn heat off here because we've got our steam hub going. See that orange outline? It's faint, but you can see it. Oh, heh. Alright, so we'll turn the heat back on here because I forgot once we turn our generator off, our steam hubs don't work. Alright. Oh. Already finished our drafting machine. That was quick. Now, do I want to go level 4? Or do I want to build something else? Gosh. Let's see. What do we got? It's day 7. We don't have another drop in our temperature for 1, 2, 3 more days. We don't have need for a second scout just yet, so I think we are going to go ahead and go level 3 while we can. And because we have finished our wall drill, yeah, we'll tear this down overnight, and overnight we're going to reassign everybody. And we just don't have any workers for this hut right now, but that's alright. Oh, and we have built that road, so we're going to take that out. And now you can see our tent covers normal size. Alright, every tent will hold 10 people in it. And since we have 24 homeless people, 3 tents will cover 30 people. So that'll be enough. And we'll have everybody rehoused. The Lost Expedition. The rest of our people made camp here, too exhausted to go on. We should escort them to the city. Yes, let's do so. 4 children, 9 more engineers, and 22 more workers. Excellent. We'll be able to set up that food hut. Alright, so let's turn the steam back on. And once the steam comes on, you'll notice that these houses right here beside this steam core are now warm. So the steam hubs allow you to build in another smaller circle all over the place. And that's why I prefer the steam hubs rather than upgrading the range settings, because the range settings just enlarge in the ring around your central generator, and you just can't fit as much stuff around there, so the hubs are more useful. But as you can see, we're really sucking down our coal now. 326 per day, 144 to the generator, 72 to the hubs. It shows 2, but we're only running 1, so that's 72 per hub when they run, and then 110 per day for the heaters. So we are really going to start using up our coal now, which is why we went ahead and built the coal thumper and the gathering posts for those, because this 631 and this 171 just aren't going to last very long. And it's nighttime, so we're going to go ahead and dismantle the sawmill and move those workers over to the wall drill. And we're going to put some workers in the second hunter's hut because our food is also now below our need. We're only gaining 100 rations, but we're eating 144 per day. So we're going to need to increase our food production. We'll do that next episode. And then we'll start getting some people into our thumper and our gathering posts, and we will send our explorers out to either the sturdy shelter or the gloomy cave. But we will do all that next episode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I am House Gnome Gaming, and we'll see you next time. Bye.